Today we're going to be talking about how ideas are alive and all of creation already exists in consciousness. Now, I know that sounds like a mouthful to bite off. The purpose of today's episode is to convince you that everything that you want already exists and to share with you how you can actually access it in the materialized form, how you can pull it out of your imagination and be able to hear it, taste it, touch it, see it in physical form. There is a method to this. It is a scientific-based process, and I'm going to be breaking that down for you over the course of today's episode. And this is going to be important for you if you're somebody who has a vision and you're wanting to experience that vision in your reality. There's a gap between where you are and where you want to be. Like there was a gap for where I was and where I wanted to be not that long ago. I mean, the podcast that you're listening to was a vision I had. The studio that you're seeing me in, if you're joining me on YouTube right now or listening on your favorite audio platform, was a vision. The woman that I'm married to happily now for 6 years was a vision. The child that I now have, my 22-month-old, the home I live in, my $30 million coaching company, the health I have, the body I have, was a vision, and none of it existed 10 years ago. Most of it didn't even exist 3 years ago, and I'm going to be sharing with you how it all happened, the principles behind it, and the step-by-step process so that you can achieve it too. Because again, my guess is you have a vision and it's probably not the life that you're living right now. It's probably not the body you're experiencing right now. It's probably not the relationships you're experiencing right now or the business you're experiencing right now. And I'm not suggesting that there aren't great things going on in your life. I know that there are, but I know that there's where you are and where you want to be, and you're wanting to get from where you are to the vision, and I'm going to give you a process to absolutely do that. So in this video, I'm going to explain how everything you want already exists, how every solution or idea that you'll need to actually achieve it also already exists, and the third thing, which is the most important piece in terms of how do you make that your actual reality. Now, this episode was inspired by our friend Viral Ambassador on YouTube, and Viral Ambassador said on one of my previous videos, I can't stop watching his videos. David has the incredible ability to take a very deep subject and simplify it. I've always heard that all thoughts exist in consciousness, but this is the first time I've ever known or been explained the significance of that and its implications. Wow, suddenly my life seems more on track than ever before. So I want you to feel like your life is on track more than ever before, because your beliefs create your reality. And so if you believe that the vision you have is somewhere way off in the future, or that it doesn't yet exist today, or you have to hustle and grind to actually create the results that you want and materialize that dream into your reality, well, that's going to create a lot of resistance in your journey to making it real for you. And I want this to be as easy as possible for you. So this is a confidence builder for you in terms of how it all works. And this isn't some sort of just think your way into abundance episode. This is the physics of how you create your reality. And if you've watched any of my other videos, we're actually going to go a little bit deeper than we ever have before. And if you're new, welcome. I know there's a reason why you attracted this information to you. And if you love this video, you can absolutely subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon, because that's what you need if you really want to get notifications. So we're going to start out with the first part of this sort of three-step process that I'm going to unpack for you, which is everything you want already exists. Neville Goddard was one of the great teachers of the power of imagination, and he talked about the fourth dimension. He said there are two realities that exist simultaneously. There's this third dimensional, five senses reality that we normally refer to as our exclusive reality. It's what you and I would call our lives. And he said, but simultaneous to that, there's another reality, and he refers to it as the fourth dimension. It's the reality of imagination, the reality of potential. People refer to this as the quantum field. And it is an equivalent reality, but you can't sense it with your five senses. So most of the time we're like, who gives a shit? There's this other reality over there, but I'm not able to experience it, so who cares? Well, it's important to understand that the reality you are experiencing right now actually came from that other place called the fourth dimension. The reality that you're living right now actually started out as an idea, an imagination. You've imagined the life that you have right now. Now, sometimes that's a hard pill to swallow. You're like, but how did I imagine this, chronic health condition? How do I imagine living in this fear of financial insecurity? Did I imagine a life with a toxic relationship? Or how did I imagine a life where, it feels like I don't have enough and maybe I won't have enough in the future? And the answer is, well, you've been thinking on a moment-by-moment basis thoughts of fear since you were a small child. We call the root cause of those fear-based thoughts your belief systems. And when you grow up, you learn from other people how to be afraid. You learned that money was hard to make, or you learned that there wasn't enough time, or you learned that there wasn't good enough, either because you observed your parents living this way and so you modeled that from your parents, or because you grew up in an environment where there was some sort of what we would look at and call abuse. People didn't treat you well. Maybe it was a school teacher. Maybe it was your parents. Maybe it was, other kids that you were growing up around who made fun of you. And so you develop these habits of thoughts and habits of emotion that were fear-based. And your habit of thought and your habit of emotion is your habit of imagination. This is really important to understand. You're imagining all the time. Some people say to me, you don't have a really hard time, visualizing or imagining things. And it's like, no, you don't. You're imagining almost 24/7. As you're thinking your thoughts, as you're driving from point A to point B and you're on the highway and you're kind of ruminating in your head, you're imagining. When you're thinking about the business that you want to start, you're imagining. When you're thinking about not having enough clients, you're imagining not having enough clients, right? When you're thinking about how you haven't been feeling well in your body for a while and you start to wonder, am I going to feel this way always? You start to imagine feeling like this always. So you're constantly imagining. And when you're imagining, you're activating information that already exists in the quantum field or in the fourth dimension. When you're imagining, you're placing your attention on all of this potential that exists in what Neville Goddard calls the fourth dimensional space. And the longer you hold your attention on that information that exists in this imaginative realm, you turn it not into, you transform it from potential to actualization, right? It becomes not a possibility of your future, but it becomes your future. And so that's why this mindset work is so important and this personal growth work is so important, and becoming aware of and transforming or healing or letting go of our limiting beliefs or our traumas is so important, because that's the imprint within which you're constantly placing attention in the fourth dimension. And so a lot of people go, well, if I'm constantly creating into my reality, how could that be? I'm experiencing the same reality over and over and over again. Nothing's changing. And the answer is everything's actually changing on a moment by moment basis, but it seems like it's not changing because you keep thinking the same thoughts and feeling the same emotions. I'm going to say that again because it's really, really important. Your reality is constantly changing. And it's as if there's a live stream that's coming from the fourth dimension or your imagination over time into your reality. It's constantly streaming. And you can change the stream at any point in time. You can change what your habit of thought or habit of emotion is, or what your habit of imagination is. And you'll transform your reality. You'll transform your bank account. You'll transform your relationships. You'll transform your business. I'm going to go deeper on that with you here in a second. But it seems like that's not the case. It seems like your current reality, what's already materialized, is fixed because you've had the health problem for a while and you still have the health problem. You've had the money problem for a while and you still have the money problem. You've got the business problem for a while and you still have the business problem. You've got the lack of clarity problem and you still have the lack of clarity problem. You've got the career problem and you've still got the career problem, right? But that's not because what I'm suggesting isn't true, that every single moment is a new creation. That's because you keep thinking the same thoughts and feeling the same emotions and imagining the same fear-based future. So you're creating the same undesired reality in your present moment experience. It's important to understand. What's also important to understand is that the problems you're experiencing right now aren't problems. So let's just relax around it for a second. I want you to understand what problems are designed to do in the way this system of reality or system of intelligence works. The problems that you're experiencing, anything that you don't like, right? I don't like the fact that I don't have excess at the end of the month to go out for nice dinners or fly business class or rent a private jet or buy my dream home. And instead I'm worrying about how I'm going to pay my mortgage. I don't like that. That's a problem. Well, the problem is meant to catalyze and focus your attention into what you do want. So I believe that we actually understood how this worked before we came into the physical body, that we understood the spiritual laws when we were living as spirit, and then we manifested or materialized or incarnated. And part of the process is remembering this. But what I believe is that we knew, and I certainly know that this is how it works, that we knew that we would experience problems and that those problems would help us get clear on what our desires are. Because each and every one of us has different desires. That's the beauty of having 7 or 8 billion people on the planet, is we all have different preferences. We all have different desires. Some people like to, have a desire to, create their own business and, make a massive impact on millions of people in the world. Some people want to create a boutique business. Some people don't want to have a business at all. They want to be an entrepreneur working for another organization. Some people like to climb mountains. Some people like to have an incredible cup of coffee. Some people like to sleep in and stay in bed. Some people like to wake up at 5 a.m. None of it is good or bad. But what allows us to determine what our personal preference is the experience of things that we don't like. So right now you're experiencing things that you don't like in your life right now, aren't you? Just pick one thing you don't like right now. Just pick one thing, right, that you don't prefer. You're like, I don't like that anymore. I'd like it to change. Well, the experience of that problem has helped you become aware of what you do want. So you don't like the feeling of financial insecurity. And so that's now activating this desire for financial abundance and prosperity. You don't like feeling physical pain in your body. So that's activated a desire for extraordinary health and well-being. You don't like having friction in your relationship with your husband or your wife or your partner. And so what that's activating is a desire and a focus of energy and attention towards harmony and peace and passion and compassion and empathy in your relationship. So now all of a sudden we have access to a preference. The challenge, and I've talked about this in other videos, is that because the mind, the brain, the nervous system, like the whole operating system is designed to help us survive, our tendency, if we're not aware of how this game works, is to start paying attention to the problem and trying to get rid of the problem. So we start paying attention to our financial insecurity even more. We start paying attention to the physical discomfort in our body even more. We start paying attention to the challenges in our relationship even more. And then the mind will mentalize the emotional experience of those challenges, and it'll start showing up as like, I don't think she's ever going to change. How come he says what he says, right? Money is hard to make, right? It starts to activate this childhood past with all these belief systems. But the opportunity is for you to go up. I don't actually like this. Now I'm clear on what I want, and to start imagining and putting your attention on what you want. When you imagine and start putting your attention on what you want, rather than continuing to put your attention and imagining what you don't want, now all of a sudden you plant new seeds in that fourth dimensional space. And technically what happens is that all of creation already exists. All of creation already exists. Everything that has ever existed, that exists right now, and that will ever exist, already exists in this quantum field, this fourth dimensional space. Everything. It's all already there as potential. And so as you start to direct your attention towards it, you activate that potential in the field. You activate that energy. And so you can either be activating an energy of a future you don't want because that future exists already in the field, or you can be activating the energy of a future that you do want because that energy actually exists in the field too. And as you place your consistent and focused attention on what you desire, that attention, meaning your energy, your own consciousness, starts to activate and begins to materialize that future in the field. Now, that future will become manifest over time through thoughts and ideas that you have that you take action on. That future will become material through the coincidences and synchronicities that are created, the people that you meet, the investors that you attract, the relationship that you develop, the person that you run into, right? All of those series of cause and effects that occur in order to produce the timing of our life. We'll look back on it and we'll go, no, this is actually what happened. But what I'm saying is what happened is an effect of a root cause, which is the activation of this energy in the fourth dimension or in the field that maps or translates your desires of the vision you have to everything that already exists. In other words, that body that you want that feels really good, it already exists right here, right now in the field. That business that you want already exists right here, right now. That dream home exists right here, right now. That dream relationship, it exists right here, right now. All possibilities already exist in consciousness. And so the name of the game is to learn how to translate, because we are translators of energy into material form, how to translate that future that you desire that's been catalyzed by your experience of problems. So problems aren't really a problem. Problems are just the mechanism by which you get clear on your desires, right? We have an opportunity to translate that energy of your future from the field into the life that you're living right now. So again, it's important to understand, like step one is that all of the future that you want already exists right now in the fourth dimensional space. Hey, it's David. Just a quick interruption to your regularly scheduled episode by your favorite sponsor, moi. I want to tell you about my book. It is available on Amazon right here, right now. A Changed Mind, Go Beyond Self-Awareness, Rewire Your Brain, and Re-Engineer Your Reality. In this little book are all the frameworks, the tools, the methodologies that I talk about on this show and that I've used to actually change my mind and that tens of thousands of other people have used to transform their bank accounts, their businesses, their relationships, their health, their spiritual connection, everything that you want to achieve. This is the way to achieve it. And Amazon has done us a good one right now. It's significantly discounted. So you can go and pick up your copy, or better yet, pick up a copy for a friend too. There's nothing better than giving the gift of transformation right now. Hop on over to Amazon. There's a link in the show notes. And if you love the book as much as I loved writing it for you, do me a favor, let me know that and leave a review. And now back to your regularly scheduled episode. Well, then we move into, but how? How do I actually translate this? And the answer is, well, you attune your thoughts and your emotions with an anticipation of that future. Because the ideas that you need in order to actually execute and create this future, because I'm not saying you just sit around on your sofa watching Netflix and eating cheesy poofs all day and you hold a vision of becoming a billionaire and all of a sudden like $1 billion just shows up like a magic genie. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you have a vision, right, the vision exists in the field. All of creation already exists. You're tuning into something that already exists. You just can't see it yet through your five senses, but just know that because you're tuning into it, because you feel it, because you can visualize it, it exists. And now you're starting to activate that energy and it's beginning to move towards the materialization of reality. And then the ideas that we need in order to make that a reality for us, those exist in consciousness too. So when you think about, like, I don't even know how I'm going to do this. I don't even know what type of business I want to start. I'm not even sure who, I want to meet as a soulmate. I don't know the mechanism by which I'm going to heal my body. That's okay. Remember that future exists in the field, in the fourth dimensional space, and all the ideas you need, they exist there too. See, you're like a radio receiver, and you tune into information based on your desires or fears. And so you can tune into the ideas that you need in order to make this vision that you have that already exists in the field a reality. How do you do that? Well, you live in anticipation and excitement of that future. See, Edison lived in anticipation and excitement of his inventions. So the idea for the light bulb wasn't Edison's idea. The idea for the light bulb itself, has always existed in consciousness. It's just waiting there for someone to tune into it. Edison was in alignment with bringing the idea of the light bulb into full materialized form so that we could go, oh my God, there's a light bulb, and everybody has light bulbs in their home, right? So Edison, and I'm going to talk about it as the third part of the process, Edison was able to tune his dial to be able to receive the idea for the light bulb, which then was part of how he created the light bulb, how he materialized the vision that he had into reality. So remember, the vision is already there in the field, and now all the ideas that you need in order to actually create this vision exist in the field too. Again, why am I sharing this with you? Because we make it so much harder than it needs to be. If you could just understand that you don't have to figure it all out. If you have the desire, it already exists. And if you want access to the thoughts and the ideas that are necessary, the plans, the how, to actually make it a reality, those already exist too. We're going to get to this third step in a moment here, which is how do I access all of this? I want you to understand that it's not about the old game as you've understood it. Oh, only the lucky actually can create the reality that they want. Oh, I don't have enough time. Oh, I don't have enough resources. But I've been experiencing this problem for so long. None of that matters. What's waiting for you right now is the potential of the vision and future that you want. It's already in the field. And then we get into, but how do I do it? All those ideas are already in the field too. All of the how. I had a vision for having 1,000 people at my live event, the Powerful Living Experience Live. So I knew that possibility existed in the field. It was just a matter of aligning myself with that possibility, looking at the resistance that I have, the limiting beliefs I have, and doing the work to remove them so that I wasn't inadvertently directing my attention back towards the absence of 1,000 people, back towards having no people at a live event, because I would create that through the fourth dimension or the quantum field. So I had to work on my limiting beliefs, then I could live in anticipation, and then I also started activating the ideas. I started activating the strategies. I started activating the people that I could reach out to. I started activating all kinds of resources. And the field also started transmitting itself into other people in order to make it happen. My event planners, different business coaches that I met along the way, different events that I got exposed to, promotions for events that came through my Facebook newsfeed that I ended up reaching out to and speaking at those events and selling my digital course and giving people tickets to my live event so that I could get 1,000 people at my live event. So the vision you have already exists. It's just a matter of materializing it. That's important to understand. It's right here, right now. It's just in a fourth dimensional, energetic, vibrational form. Number two, all the ideas that you need, they're also in the field. So it's just a matter of tuning ourselves into it. And then there's step three. How do we do it? And the answer is relax. The answer is you have to be in a non-resistant state. All ideas already exist in consciousness. The vision you have already exists in consciousness. It's all in the field of potential. And now you're wanting to actualize it. And the actualization process actually comes from a downregulated nervous system. Chill out. And so that's why this personal growth work is so important. That's why identifying the resistance that you're having, both to the vision that you have, or where you're pushing too hard to figure it out, or resistance that you're experiencing in other areas of your life, resistance continues to manifest resistance from the field. But when you relax, then what you're able to allow to translate itself from the field into your reality are all of the desires that you've been building up. So you've been building up a lifetime of desires. Why? Because you've been experiencing a lifetime of problems. Every time you experienced a problem, it activated a desire in the field. Now you're waiting for those desires to materialize themselves into your reality. But what you have to do in order to be able to achieve that is stop paying attention to the problem. Otherwise, you're going to keep creating the problem out of the fourth dimension. So we want to look at our limiting beliefs. We want to look at our fears. We want to look at our resistances. We want to look at our childhood traumas, and we want to transform those. Because when you're not living day to day, consistently in your mind focused on the problem or focused on how you don't have enough or there's not enough time or you're not good enough or comparing yourself to other people or living in indecision or procrastinating or self-sabotaging, you're actually living in a positive anticipation of the future, aren't you? You're living in enjoying the present moment. You're living in tuning into the ideas that are just waiting there for you. You start imagining a future that you want and getting excited about the reality of creating it. And that's the space that you live in. But you can't do that if you've got limiting beliefs, childhood traumas, and a habit of thoughts and emotions that are compelling you to continue to focus on what you don't want and creating repetitive cycles of that into your third dimensional space from where everything comes from, the fourth dimension. That's why one of the most important equations that we teach is this equation, and I go in depth on it in other episodes: desire plus non-resistance equals desired result. Your desires occur naturally as a result of you experiencing your problem. So you've already got that down. You've done a great job. You've got a whole backlog catalog of desires waiting for you in the field. What allows them to translate themselves into your reality, into material form, is that you start making them matter. I want you to listen to this language. Start making them matter and they will become matter. Stop making your problems and your fears and your limiting beliefs matter. Otherwise, they will become matter. Right? You have an ability to control physics. You're a super powerful creator. And so you don't actually have to do anything on the desire part. That happens automatically as a result of the problems that you've experienced. Your job is one job only, and that is to be non-resistant. See, the moment you have a desire, the field or infinite intelligence, it organizes 99.9% of the cooperative components necessary to realize that desire or that dream into your reality. The last mile, the like 0.00001%, that's your job. That's you receiving a thought or receiving an idea and pursuing it. But you think about it. Think about all the coincidences and synchronicities that are required, that have been required to create anything that you find valuable. If you're in a relationship right now, think about all the infinite cause and effects that had to take place for you to meet your soulmate. Your soulmate was a vision that you had, whether you were aware of it or not. You dated a bunch of people who weren't your soulmate, and so you got clear on the soulmate that you wanted, and life said, hey, I got it. I've already got it in the field. I've got every combination here. And it started activating all the cooperative components in order to create the extraordinary timing and synchronicity and coincidence that was required in order for you to meet the person that you're with. You played a very small role in that. I'll give you another example. I didn't like experiencing that I had this incredible work that I wanted to share with people that could change their lives and change their businesses and change every aspect of their lives. I didn't like the fact that I couldn't get it out to 1 million people. That created a desire of wanting to impact millions of people. The solution for that and the reality of that already exists in the quantum field. And so as I relaxed into it, I had an idea, which was like, you know what? I've got a successful business. It's not helping millions of people. It's helping lots of people. I think I'm going to start a podcast. I start recording a podcast starting in July 4th of 2023. And I just decided to do a podcast episode every week. So I do a podcast episode every week for about 9 months. And then all of a sudden in May 2024, almost 1 million people view the videos and hear the podcast on YouTube. It literally just takes off. It's the reason why you're listening to this episode right now, whether you're listening on audio or you found us on YouTube. Now, I could look at it and go, well, look at all the work that I did. I recorded an episode every single week. And I feel like if the field could speak to me, the field would say, hey, screw you. I created YouTube. I created YouTube, Dave, so you could get your message out there. So life or intelligence or God or Jesus or Allah does 99.9% of the work. The moment you have a desire, it starts getting to work on, hey, how do we organize all of the components to take this desire from the fourth dimensional field of imagination and materialize it in your reality? The reason why it takes longer or never happens for most people for a lot of their desires is because we're focusing all of our attention on the absence of the thing that we want. And so we continue to activate the absence of the thing that we want from the field. And so the field then translates that into our next present moment reality. And what do we get? The absence of the thing. And then we just keep incanting and affirming that, right? Where is it? How come it's not here yet? It's never going to happen for me. How come it happens for other people, but it hasn't happened for me yet? Then the mind will try to explain it. Maybe it's because money is hard to make. Gosh, there's not enough time. Geez, maybe I'm not good enough. And so the system works consistently. You get to create whatever you want to create out of the field, but the field is simply responding to your attention. Just know that even when you have problems, you're activating desires and you're accumulating this incredible back catalog of stuff that's ready to materialize into your reality, but it can't, and you can't have the thoughts to do the thing that you need to do if you're not in resonant alignment or vibration with the materialization of that reality, if you're continuing to focus on your problems. And so that's a little bit more long-winded explanation of this very simple equation: desire plus non-resistance equals desired result. So if you look at it, step one is go experience your life, experience problems, have desires as a result of it, and know that you're activating your own unique slice of the pie of the field, which is everything that you want, your vision for your life, your dreams, your hopes, your goals. It's all already here, right now, and it's becoming activated while you're experiencing problems because the desire is an automatic response. That's step one. Step two is know that you don't need to figure out the how. That as long as you don't move into resistance, you'll have ideas, someone will say something, you'll watch some YouTube video, you'll sign up for some course, and you will have whatever you need in terms of the knowledge or information to take proper action from your part on, because your action is often required. You are a part of this play. And simultaneous to that, universe has done 99.9% of the other work. It's activating other people to create coincidences and synchronicities. Step three is relax, chill out. Because if you have a desire for a couple of days and you really get excited about it, but then you go back and you check in too early on whether or not it's materializing and it's not there, and you start to entertain this dialogue explaining why it's not there, you've now moved back into making it not being there matter. And now that's what you keep creating in your life. What you want to make is it already being here right now matter. And you can actually do that if you understand that it does exist in this fourth dimensional space. So I live a much more relaxed life right now because anytime I have a problem, I don't pay that much attention to it. I just go, what desire is this problem calling me into? And then the moment I get clear on the desire, the new expansion I have for my life, I know that whatever that looks like, it already exists right here, right now in energetic waveform potential. And the key to actually experiencing it in my five senses, third dimensional reality is to just relax, follow the thoughts, follow the hunches, follow the intuition, know that my role is a small part or small fraction of what's actually required to produce this result. Know that the superorganism of intelligence is actually working right now, organizing all the cooperative components to make this happen. And that anything I need in terms of ideas or thoughts or awarenesses, it also already exists in the field. And as long as I'm relaxed and not making the absence of the thing that I want matter at the right time, at the perfect timing, I'll become aware of the thought and then I can take action on it. That's it. It's that simple. What you want already exists. All you need is already there too. And just chill out and be a part of the process. So if you want to go deeper on this, just check out I'm going to play for you right here, right? It's a little ending segment where I can talk to you about the free trainings and opting into our email list. Again, you could subscribe to our newsletter and subscribe to this channel if you want to go deeper. But I know you're right there. I know there's a reason. You know, you activated this video of all the potential realities that you could be experiencing because you've been wanting a solution, and apparently this is a really important piece to the puzzle of you having a powerful living experience and extraordinary life. So I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. And if you want to go deeper, I'll see you on the next one. Love you very much. I'll see you in the next episode. Hey, it's David. Hop on over to davidbear.com. Click right here. There's also a link in the show notes, and sign up for our newsletter. You'll get immediate access to my free Mind Hack ebook, as well as a couple of trainings to help you master the inner game. This is a great way to stay informed and be a part of our community and be notified of special announcements. Click below, head on over to the website, get subscribed. If you loved this video, make sure you check out this one or this one, and I will see you in the next video.